Oh, hello, my fellow chess enthusiasts. We are back at it again with another epic and educational day of chess. And in today's video, what I intend to show you is how to absolutely destroy your opponents. And we're going to do it in a fashion where we're not going to have to think so much. Right out the gate, not really sure what that move was, but we're just going to go ahead and take that knight. And so we're going to go ahead and take that. And so the whole point of this is I'm going to show you that there's moments where you need to calculate and there's moments where you don't really need to calculate. And so we're going to try and just fly through this game like did I even think about this move? And it looks like he's going to castle this way, so we're castling opposite. Yes, he has this pawn push, but I don't care. Scoot back. And so there will be a moment where some calculation is going to be required. We definitely don't want to lose. What's better, this or this? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. We play this one for no specific reason at all. I guess I'm never really going to be making this pawn push, and he can quite easily get his knight to the middle of the board where essentially I'm going to have to take it. But how many moves have we made? 12 moves in, and I have not thought for a second. Okay, that's a lie. I have definitely thought, but I've been doing some talking. Boom. Okay, and so the way you're going to get better at chess is straight up just get through the opening, get into the middle game. You need to see right here, we don't want my dude being trapped. If this pawn push comes in, we're straight up just going to take. The bishop, yeah, we're just going to take. We're just going to take. And then, I mean, this is what we're worried about, I suppose. Castling opposite maybe wasn't the greatest idea, but we're going to step this way. If he comes in, we step up. If he wants to somehow, I don't know what he's going to even try and do. What is he going to do with one rook on the open file? He probably needs to castle in this situation, but what we're going to do is put my king in the middle of the board. Now we're fighting open. This open file has happened in the position, and so what we're going to do is put my rook challenging this open file. And what might even happen is we might see this, where I step over, and I take. He takes with the rook. Okay, so he's going for the bishop. We're going to step back, because it looks like we're going to trade the rooks and go into an endgame. And we can take that with the knight. Everything is just kind of coming together. Now, we can go for this and rush into an endgame. Or we can push forward. No, we can't. Hangs this. We're going for this. Not going to push this because it hangs the pawn. If you see that right there. And so this is the open file in the position. And I feel like that's what we're going to be playing for. Now, this bishop has no future. So what we're going to do is we're going to push this pawn. We're going to bring my rook somewhere else so that the rooks still see each other. So he's going for this. That's a reasonable move. Stepping back hangs everything, so we're going to step like this. He can't really get into the position just yet. And in the meantime, we're gonna come up with a plan. Okay. If I trade, he gets in. But then do we just step over and say, what's your rook doing over here? I think we're gonna be all right. Like, yes, we're gonna have this is a slight problem. I can also just push forward, but that kind of gives him this diagonal, which isn't gonna be fun. But can we just trade off later? Like, can I just push this forward? And like, yes, you get this, right? I take. I guess he has immediate ideas of this. But I just come over. I mean, if you come in, I step over. I don't see how you're going to get in. So we're just going to put my pawns on these light squares. And I got my bishop on the dark squares. And that is pretty much what we're playing for here. Okay, so he's going for this. I'm fairly certain I'm going to need to do something like this. If he comes in and attacks the rook, I might just step over. If he comes back with the check, I step here. And he's not going to be able to win the pawn. We do need to be maybe a little bit worried about this. He could play this move. And then we're scared of this. I'd have to step back. But then he gets a bishop on a nice square. Okay. This traps my rook. So if I do this, he can just trap my rook. So the other move is this. He can play this and it attacks my rook, and my rook has to go somewhere. But then his rook doesn't see my pawn. So we're struggling. We're struggling a little bit in this endgame, but I'm confident that it's all going to work out. The next plan of action is going to be... I would be so happy to trade everything off. Okay, so this bishop, I've got two ideas. This just walks directly into this, so it doesn't fix anything. He can scoot over, but then I just take, and if he attacks, I scoot over. I think we're going to be all right. So the idea is we're going to try and get this bishop into the action. And now he does not have this diagonal, okay? This is my diagonal. And if you ever go to it somehow, we trade. And then we go into a rook endgame where I feel quite all right. And if he tries to do this doubling up idea, it doesn't work because I'm going to trade at least once. And if you attack me, I'm going to just step over. And then maybe I even put my king onto a light square, and we're chilling. And so we have just flown through this game. Not too much thinking, just some pretty simple calculations. Maybe I've missed some stuff, but I don't think anything drastic. And look at my crazy pawn structure. Okay, that's probably not a bad move. Boom, boom is my next idea. Like, yes, you have this, but we're just straight up, we just want to get rid of this bishop. We're going to play this. Okay, we're going to just take. Didn't think about which one's better, but this keeps the files closed. Was that good or bad? It's hard to say. And maybe I even start getting in. But what if I play this? Take. Hard to say. Hard to say who's winning. I think it's a complete draw. I'm wondering if our opponent here has been thinking deeply. I guess I've spent more time, but I'm doing more explaining than just blitzing out moves. That hangs a rook, so we're going to take it. We'll go ahead and give him 15 seconds. He wants a take back. We'll give it to him, because that would completely ruin the video. We're going to go ahead and give it to him, because that would ruin the video. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was trying to play this. I don't really know what he was trying to play there. But make no mistake about it. If I was not recording, give me 15 seconds, bro. I give you 15 seconds. Who do you think you are? Okay, we play like this. Take, take, take. It undevelops my beautiful king. But I think my king is closer to doing damage than you ever are. Right? And I can stop any infiltration ideas on this dark diagonal. We step forward. Bro. Now I'm doubting myself. Am I going to get stuck in a Zooks situation? Do I come in? Am I faster? Boom, 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 boom. Don't love it. So we're playing this. This prevents the king from getting to this square. Yeah, your king's not getting in. At least not immediately. And I have free reign with this rook. What do I do with the rook? Ooh, push with check. Never mind. It's pinned. My king is frozen. So what we're going to do is just move this. If he comes in, he's got the open file, but I'm not sure that it's really beneficial for him in any way. It's a draw. It's an absolute draw. I mean, we might be getting in a second open file over here. Is he really going for this? He's going for this. We take, check, I step back, you take here, but I get behind the passed pawn. You come back, I push, you could block. Is that the move? Passed pawn. We get a passed, gives him a passed pawn. What do I do here? For some reason, I feel like pushing it forward. I grab this pawn, but I lose this one. I step back. You take here. I get behind the passed pawn. He could essentially just check me back and forth for forever. But if he doesn't and rushes back to here, I push, he gets behind it. I'm not convinced it's winning. Hate to play a move like that, but we're going to just go ahead and do it. Absolutely hate to play a move like that. He's got this. But I think, like, yes, he's got this idea still, but now he's a couple moves away from actually being able to do it. This is not going to work. Like, boom, boom, boom. I get behind it. And you're going to lose that pawn. So this doesn't work. This doesn't work. That really doesn't work, actually. So no way he's ever going to play that. He could play this, and then this pawn becomes a super issue. Like, he just plays this. What am I supposed to actually do in that position? Do I... He probably slides back, but then I get in. He could double, but then I double, then he takes, then I take, but then my rook is more active. Active rook. We're going to clutch up this win. And, bro, give me 15 seconds. I gave you 15 seconds. Like, let's be fair now. I gave you a take back, bruh. Maybe he just forgot, but I think he is an a-hole. If someone gave me a take back in 15 seconds, bro, I'd give him a minute. Easy. Even in a rated game. You give me a take back, absolutely, bro. You get a minute. You get a minute for that. I hung a rook. 5 points of material. You know, in professional chess, if they make like an illegal move, they get 2 minutes on the opponent's clock. I'm not sure if that changes in the different time controls, but that can be huge in like a blitz game. You get low on time making a legal move. You really want to go for this, bro? Can I defend? I like the idea of activity. And that's checkmate. Will we get it? Like, he can do this, but this hangs checkmate. So you have to actually run back. And we're a little bit worried about this, but I think this pawn is quite weak. And if I could figure out... Man, this open file is annoying. Okay, my rook is attacked. I like this. If he puts his rook here and brings the other rook, and I step in defending it with one rook, still this is an idea, but it wouldn't have worked because he just steps up, and then I'm in a lot of trouble. So it looks like he's going for it, and he hung this pawn. Am I crazy? We grab this pawn. Also defending this. Oh my goodness, clutch move. And his king looks like he's active, but he has a scarce amount of squares. That is checkmate, my friend. And how do you stop that? I think that's it. How do you stop that? You can't go nowhere. Out of nowhere, bro. Out of nowhere. Activity overall. And so that came a little bit of calculation. I don't think I did too much thinking in this game. This one I literally was just grabbing a pawn, and now I'm finding out that it's actually not... It's not just grabbing a pawn. It's grabbing a pawn, defending my pawn, and threatening checkmate. And if it didn't, I don't think that this idea was ever going to be a good idea, because our kings are in a little standoff right now. And so if he was to bring his rook in here, applying pressure to this, I can defend it with just my rook. And then I can kind of like do things with this one, I suppose. And he resigns because, yeah, there's no possible way to stop this checkmate. How ridiculous is that? And so we'll go through this game. Didn't think. I guess I maybe thought for a second castling opposite, but that was more thinking about, like, should I play a reasonable game or an attacking game? And it wasn't necessarily thinking about any calculation. It was just like content or better chance at winning. That's kind of the way I thought about it. We didn't think about any of this. This little king step up took a minute amount of thinking, trading the knights. This took a little bit of thinking, like, yes, you got the diagonal. All of this took a small amount of thinking. We right here, it wasn't much calculation. It was just avoiding a one move blunder. Like if I step back, I hang the rook. The rook just gets trapped. And so you got to be careful of your rooks when they're surrounded by a lot of pieces. You will learn that because bishops are good at getting in and attacking like a specific square, and rooks can get stuck. So they can easily be attacked by pawns and bishops and stuff like that. They just get stuck on one square. And so all of this, didn't think here, bada boom, bada bing, trading off the pieces. This is an absolute draw. Absolute draw. I think at some point he could have just gone for this. No, that traps your king. His king is borderline trapped. I think stepping back. So all the way here. No. You step back. I think that's what needed to be played. Absolutely. Because if not, I guess I could have just hung this rook as well, taking this, and that's still mate in one. So I could have just completely sacrificed this rook, but there's no need to be fancy. But yeah, that he had a chance right here. Or wait, I had a chance right here. Guarantee. Let's check it with the computer and see if what I just said made any sense. We'll see how accurate it was, and we'll check the accuracy, how many blunders, how many, whatever. And so I think that was a pretty straightforward educational way of just, that's how you play chess and win. And so, yes, he's rated slightly lower than me, but the principle still stands. So let's check it with the computer. All right, and here we are in the analysis, and to my disbelief, I did not play that accurate of a game, and we definitely both missed some stuff in the end game because rook and pawn endgames are notoriously tricky. And so, looking at this graph, I was doing quite well until the end. I made 2 devastating blunders in the end game, and they weren't that hard to spot. And so now that I see it with the computer, that sucks. Now our opponent, 2 blunders, technically 3 because he hung the rook, and so 79% accurate. Not my greatest performance, but you know what? By golly, we were playing easy, simple to learn and play chess. And so what did I expect? To get an absolutely crushing position by not thinking that hard? So none of this did I think, okay? Push a pawn, bishop's opening, develop a knight, develop the other knight, we trade it off. I got a lead in development. We simply trade off the queens. It's not really a great move, but you know what? I know that it's equal. Then we develop a bishop. We do a little opposite side castling. Technically, castling this way or pushing a pawn are the best moves, but I wanted to have maybe a more exciting game of chess. So we castled opposite, but we got rid of the queens, and so it's not really going to be like a crazy attacking game of chess. You need maybe one more knight to sacrifice and a queen. And so we just don't have a whole lot of material with the queens gone. And so all of these moves make perfect sense. We push a little pawn, have a place to go. We step back. We push a pawn forward. Pushing 2 squares is better because it keeps this file closed. So if we push and he takes here, I take. I'll just show you. We go like this. And if he pushes forward, then we step over with the knight. The difference being the file over by my delicate little king is still closed. So that's why you push it 2 squares. I'm going to need to start doing that because I always push the pawn 1 square and it's never the best move. So I always do this, but 2 squares is always better. Not always better, but 9 times out of 10, when you're in a situation like this, you push the pawn 2 squares because it keeps the file closed, and for whatever reason I ignore doing that. It doesn't matter because it's still generally equal. My knight is attacked, so we obviously put it to the square where it is not being attacked. This is kind of flimsy. We're not trying to clog the open file with a piece that's only defended once. Seems sketchy. Now, a lot of moves make a lot of sense here, but stepping up with the king makes the most amount of sense. I castled this way, but I changed my mind because now we have an open file, and this bishop could get on this diagonal. And so putting the king up here connects my rooks. My king is generally pretty safe in the middle with no queens on the board. And so, I mean, if you noticed, I didn't really get hit with too many checks. We step back, we trade the knights. Okay, we've got even pawn structures all around. And so here I start making some silly moves. We step over. This would have made more sense. And then I can just do something with my bishop later. This would have made more sense because the diagonal is what we're worried about, and this pawn is what we're worried about. So this pawn push would alleviate a lot of that pressure. Also, trading the rooks, then we only have 1 rook, and an open file is less. I mean, it's still better to have your rook on an open file, but with 2 of them, there's more of a threat. The threat of 1 rook on the file is the threat of infiltration. The threat of 2 rooks on the file is doubling up on the 7th rank or something. So, okay, we trade this off. It's not great, and it's hard to see for the opponent. So I was supposed to be active with defending this diagonal. Instead, we push this pawn and we give him a beautiful diagonal. He plays the best move. I play an inaccuracy, and the reason for that is he can win this pawn. And so he played the best move. Then I played the best move. And all he had to do was realize if he gets his rook to move, he wins this pawn. And so say he steps back. If I step forward, I mean, he can just hit me with this. So that's not going to work. If I step here, then my rook gets trapped. So I'd have to give up this rook for it. So either way, I'm losing. And so, long story short, I would step over. He steps back. This guy, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because if he takes, I have to take it with my rook, and then he takes this pawn. I would have to step back here, realizing I'm just going to lose this pawn. And not only that, his bishop is in a beautiful, beautiful square. So I am completely losing if he sees all of that. Luckily, none of us saw it. I did kind of see these ideas, and that's why I wanted to get my bishop over here to just get rid of it. And so I literally do a zigzag all the way around the board. I literally go like this. Man, bishops are inconvenient when it comes to this. Like, boom, 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 to get rid of this guy. But you know what? We got rid of him. And I'm still losing. But you know what? It is a positional minus 1.8. It is not a I lost 2 pawns minus 1.8. Okay? So we get active with the king. We step over here. We're defending these infiltration squares. The pawns are on light squares, so my king is defending the dark squares. He steps forward with the king. And I start fiddling around with my rook because I didn't know what else to do. Okay? Now, I'm still absolutely losing. Absolutely losing. And this is a blunder because he can just take. It's an attraction sacrifice where I step over. Now my king is too far away from the rook, and he just grabs my rook. And then I'm really lost because this is weak. This is dead. He's on my 7th rank. I am absolutely losing no matter what. And so he didn't see that. Instead, he attacks here. And now I noticed this after the game. I can just sacrifice my rook. Just if he takes, it's mate in 1. And so this is the best move. The only way to defend after this is to sacrifice your rook, and I step back, and then you live. But not for much longer, because now I got 2 rooks. And so didn't see it. Didn't see it. Big blunder. Big blunder by our opponent because he hung this. And then I make a blunder because I didn't go for it. I decided to save my rook. And then that's just all she wrote. I step in, and that is more than a pawn hang. You are hanging mate in 1. I'm defending the pawn. Your king is completely suffocated in the middle of the board. There is a fine line of having your king active and having your king surrounded by a million pawns, and you're going to lose the game. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. Sorry it wasn't my best performance. What I am going to intend to do, and remember to do this, is have an attacking game of chess. This was a simple game of chess where you just trade everything off equally and get into an end game, and then he hangs a pawn and you win the game. Yes, I made some blunders, but if we don't see them, we're good to go. And so obviously they're going to catch you. They're going to catch you sometimes. But I'm going to do another game immediately right after this video, and I'm going to put it up here, and I'm going to do an attacking game where we're going to try to get some imbalances and just like a more attacking, interesting game of chess. This is how I win chess. So this is like my default. I literally trade things off, get into an endgame, play equal, and then wait for a blunder. And if they don't make a blunder, like there is some tactic that you can find along the way. I just play solid, simple, chill chess. Like I don't know how to explain it. And what I really want to cultivate is my attacking and sacrificing and just crazy games of chess. But when I play like this, if I same side castle, my chances of winning are high. If I opposite side castle and start throwing pawns, my chance of success are a lot lower because I miss the crucial tactics. And so thank you so much. Please subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. If you want to watch it, I'm going to put it up here. If you don't see it up here, that means I didn't win this game that I'm about to play right now. So, all right. Thank you so much. Get out of here. Bye.